Good morning, Dimitris.
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Hello.
How's it going, William? Where, are you going out somewhere or are you staying in the Netherlands?
No, I'm staying in the Netherlands.
Nice.
Gonna be doing houseworks the whole week.
I need to plan a week for that.
Yeah, I was traveling so
Morning,
much.
folks.
Morning,
Hey,
Chuck.
Chaka.
Hey, William, I thought you were off this week.
I am.
Okay. No more questions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wait, I'm trying to log in. Oh,
Hi, Dimitris.
hi,
I did not know
Chaka.
you were in.
Hmm?
I did not know that you were in. Even if
Yeah, I
Mauro
was supposed to be
because
off, but yeah, I
yeah, I
swapped
know,
the
I
day
know.
for Wednesday.
Yeah, Mauro told me, but I forgot from like 10 minutes ago to now.
I like your t-shirts, Dimitri.
Yeah,
Ah,
I like
yeah.
it too.
It's a cool one. Enter the
All right.
so we can get started.
Yeah. All right. So let me do what I usually do. Oh,
Editor is off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I want to ask
oh,
something. Okay.
am I sharing my screen now? Oh, new stuff. Sorry, I updated my system. Now it asks me what to share.
What you updated? It's immutable. It's immutable.
Yeah, I get a prompt. Okay, I'm gonna share the whole screen, I believe. Do you see my screen? Yes.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, crash the tab. Let me close things because this is being recorded. All right, so here we are. Let me remember what our focus was last week. So I remember we were we wanted to get a patch release out to bring in some fixes for some bugs. And since we reached this ticket here, means we have them all either merged or under review or whatever. And then we started picking stuff from the next release, the 4.2. So let's have a look at the done column. What happened? The fix for slash was in Kairos init. It is merged but not released. Correct me if I'm wrong. So next patch release, the 4.1.1, will have the fix for slash. If I'm saying something wrong, please correct me. Netboot release artifacts, it was a leftover, so it was a stale ticket and GitHub would close it, so I just picked it up and asked Claude to clean up. So it's a cleanup of docs mostly on how to use or how to produce netboot artifacts because we no longer release them, but it's very easy to produce them. So docs have been updated to show how to do that. So next one, fail to fetch. This doesn't remind me anything. Which means probably I worked on it. These are the things I usually forget. It's been garbage
it's,
collected.
it's for trauma to
Yeah.
defend yourself.
Automatically closed. Wait a minute. How old is this? Not very old.
Oh yeah. Is that even valid anymore?
So we had a page in the docs. Dora. Yes. Here it gives with the Docker file. So there is a fix. I think I'm just going to reopen it because we never looked at it actually. And then I see, yeah, something with repositories, I guess. Should I just reopen it so we have a look?
Maybe.
Okay, I'm reopening and putting it into do. Which means it's completely lost somewhere. Who knows there? This one, maybe. Oh God, that's unbelievable. Okay, so the other way to do that is to put it in progress, which is a smaller list, usually. And then find it there. That's not easy either. Unless it never went there. So it's called docs, failed to fetch. How did we end up with such tools? There it is. Okay, so let me just move it there so we have a look before it's closed. All right. What were we doing though? We were trying to do planning. Okay, back in down column. So machine registration, machine inventory. I guess these are automatically closed.
I closed it, Dimitris, because the new Aurora Boot features implemented.
All right. All right. Kairos release 4.10, that was done. Missing NFS client in Hadron, we added that. It's in new Hadron, which is 0.3.0, I think.
Yes.
Not yet released. Will be part of the upcoming patch release. System D network D in slash, that's the fix for the /55. This is the fix for the netboot instructions. This is adding the NFS utils. Yes, SEV-SNP finally works on AWS. Very long story short, it was a patch from Canonical for Ubuntu needed for newer kernels. So old kernels, for example, Amazon Linux is using a 6.12, I think, kernel, which doesn't need the fix. There was a regression later, which is fixed in Ubuntu with a patch, but it's not upstreamed yet. We finally found that patch. We included in Hadron, and it also needs some additional kernel compilation options, which we enabled the minimal set, as minimal as we could. So we didn't grow the images beyond what's needed, and it works. Well, I mean, I have to be honest, I didn't really try to deploy the confidential containers operator, but the system boots and SEV-SNP is enabled. So that's the next step, to actually try to deploy the operator there and run a confidential workload. But at least we have no reason to believe it's not working, but it's coming next. So next release will support SEV-SNP on AWS. CI improvements. Let me actually tell you what kind of improvements this was, because I don't remember. All right, now when you're pushing something to Hadron, it's going to run old config, which is also, you have your config, old dev tries to find dependencies and all and clean up your config, which happens anyway when you compile the kernel or you compile the kernel. So your final config might not look exactly like what you committed, because if you haven't run old dev config, there hasn't been a resolution of dependencies as such. So this commit gates the pull requests and checks if you have run all dev config. If not, it fails, so you run it. So we make sure you commit the resolved config, so it's clear what actually is applicable. Because I had the problem that I enabled an option and I thought it's enabled, but turns out it was disabled later and I was testing the wrong things. So this ensures that you have run it and you see exactly the configs that are being applied. So that was it. That's the fix for SEV-SNP. That's bumping Hadron. So this is the Hadron that is fixed. So it's bumping it on Kairos, and that's the fix from Tore for lib. So I think he said he created a PR to fix it in lib peer-to-peer, but somehow I think he has a fork or something, so it's already fixed in Edge VPN. So this is probably bumping Edge VPN. I don't want to describe the fix because I haven't looked it yet, and it's not. All I know is this fixes some issues with VPN. Let me actually verify. This should be bumping Edge VPN. Logs, go mode bumps. What do you bump? No. All right, so maybe that's not the case. Anybody knows what this is about? Because I only see fixing. So this is a log line, and this is the actual fix. There's a fix here. All right. No idea who approved this. Let me check.
Oh, but he sent a patch before that, I think.
Maybe he already bumped the
2 patches in this.
All right. All right. I'll archive anyway. There we go. Under review. Open VM Tools in Hadron. I think we merged that, Chaka.
Well, we merge some like example files for that to build it separately, but then I got one for doing it as part of the cloud thingy. Sorry, I'm a bit dense today. So that's ongoing. There is a pull request in there. It seems like there is no open VM tools for RISC because I cannot get them to build. It's only for ARM and x86. So that's weird. But whatever. It's in there. It should pass now. It should pass today. Nice. So hopefully we can cut 3.1 or something like that.
All right, so we will probably delay the 4.1.1 patch release to have this in. I think, William, you need this, no?
Yeah, for copy. And there is a couple of guys also that has asked for that.
All right, so we should delay the tag of Kairos until this is in. Ubuntu 26.04. We wanted to bump. I guess we bumped.
I just created. We don't bump because we don't release 26. We don't release Ubuntu stuff anymore. But I just put a pull request with it so it can, I don't know, test that everything is okay. And I haven't checked it, to be honest.
All right, work in progress then. This one we didn't pick up. Broken in the web UI somehow. But yeah, not super urgent. I mean, there was no request. It was just an external contribution. No, it's still not picked up. So yeah, if we find time, we pick it up. Coco documentation, that's from last week. There's nothing missing there. I just wanted a thumbs up to merge it. It's a very small one, so if you all agree, I can simply merge it now. I'll show you what it looks like. This is this paragraph only. It says that it works with confidential containers and that you have to enable some options, and you need to build your own. What did I say here? Because the Ubuntu, you want to build your own Kairos. I think it says, yeah, it still says that Hadron doesn't work, so maybe I'll move it back and update it now that it works, or I have to wait for 4.1.1. Okay, let me.
I love it. We didn't even have to say anything and you self-blocked.
All right. Thanks for the review, guys. Right, here we are. So no longer, actually, it's waiting for the next release. Okay, some smaller stuff I picked last week on the operator. Some users reported some improvements or bugs. This is one fix. So it's supposed to sort control planes for workers because that's the right way to upgrade. But there was a bug there, and it only happened if you specify the node selector. The code path, when you didn't specify a node selector, didn't sort them. So this is fixing it. Build Git natively. I don't remember this. Why does it have my face on it? Like I said, I fix and forget. Yes, there was so the pipeline was failing, and I just asked Claude to find what's wrong. That's why I don't remember much.
Yeah.
There was a mistake in the flags, so we put them to common flags, and it passed something that doesn't exist, whatever. And it confused the build, thinking it's a cross compilation, which is not the case because target didn't match host, I think. Yeah, host and build were different. So this is fixing it. So
yeah, I guess that means we have to fix the toolchain, right? Because it's exporting those build common args, and if they are not okay, then everything is going to be trying to build cross build instead of native if you use the toolchain, which is bad.
And it will be slow. Okay, maybe it didn't fail, but maybe it's slow. Okay, so I will not merge it because we will forget. But can you please comment where else you think it needs fixing? Maybe this needs the same fix in the toolchain image?
In the toolchain, yeah. If that's what we export, and that is causing anything you build based on the toolchain to be cross-build instead of native, then it's wrong.
1 minute. Okay. Okay, I'm putting it there. So what are we? Oh, what is this? Provide a way to do branding. How did these?
I started closing some old tickets that make no sense anymore because these were related to the old web UI. And now this has been completely revamped, so I'm just cleaning old tickets.
All right. Okay, I'll archive when you're done. So, in progress, QEMU guest agent to base an image. That's for part of
same thing, yeah.
So we discussed already Hadron QA. It's still there supposedly because we are testing.
Yeah, we all need to test in different. Yeah,
it's an ongoing task.
Yeah, no, we wanted to try the example in KubeVip. I don't know why it's in progress if nobody is actually working on it.
But we have a test, no, for that.
Yeah, we discussed last time. We wanted to see if we actually have a test. That's all we had to do for this one. So I'm moving it back to check. Supporting secure registry URL, another request for Aurora boot, and then someone commented below that they want the same thing for Kairos agent upgrading, for example. Turned out it's not that hard. I mean, it's just passing in, what is it called? The object, I forget.
Spec?
So the
config, the collector?
No, the transport. So you can pass a transport within secure inside, but that's deep in the library, and we didn't expose that. So it's mostly, see, I have that in Aurora Boot, and I was planning to also open. So it's in the SDK, and then expose the flag in Aurora Boot and Kairos agent. So I have a draft PR for Aurora Boot, which I will probably open today for review. Where is it? Must be somewhere here. Here you are. So the SDK, the supporting one both for agent and Aurora Boot, and this is the Aurora Boot exposing the flag or the config. I don't remember what I did. And we're missing the Kairos agent. So it's not a high prio, but it was mostly boilerplate, exposing flags and things like that. It's not like a big thing. That's why I picked it up in parallel with Coco on AWS. I was doing this. Support. So this is the epic for RISC-V.
Yeah.
Mauro, I think you weren't here last week, so we went through it kind of quickly, but you weren't here to tell us what's missing, so we just left it there.
Yeah, basically just need to test the last tests I did. I was able to create the boot artifact and I was able to boot to grub, but after that there were some issues. On the Hadron side, it was because the Kairos agent was not aware of the new architecture, so that has been now patched. I still need to test it. And on the Fedora side, I don't remember, but there were also some related issues. And below, I've opened the PRs and associated it to the ticket. So now I am in a stage where I need to start testing again, see what I find, or try to do a release that includes this.
Mm-hmm. All right. Another request for the operator. When a node was already upgraded to an image, or you specify the same image it's currently running anyway, a pod was scheduled that's running a command to upgrade on the node itself. And that script took care of that. It checked if the version was the same. It just exited, nope, right? But it turns out back then we didn't have any labels on the node to check, so we actually had to check from within the node. So we had to schedule a pod. Later we added labels, annotations, and things like that on the node, which means we can do the check before we even schedule anything. And there was a request for that, to not schedule a pod because it looks weird. I mean, you schedule a pod on a node that won't be upgraded, and you wait until it returns, because when you specify maximum parallelism, this has to finish before the next one gets picked up, so it slows things down. So this was fixed. No, not really yet. I have a PR. I think it's ready to be reviewed, but I have to check, which is going to check the labels first. It could still fail if, for example, you're on an older node, older version that didn't specify the new label we need. So the script will be, so the pod will be scheduled, but eventually it will be a no-op. But in the future, when you have the new label, it's going to stop earlier and not even schedule a pod. That's what this is all about. Already talked about insecure registries and this. Dev Barcelona, I guess it's BCN, Barcelona, and that's coming when?
Yeah, 2 weeks, more or less. On the 16th, I have the talk. So yeah, I just have to prepare it for it.
All right. That's it. So one of the main goals, obviously, is finish what we have open. Try to review as much as we can, at least what's supposed to be part of the new release. So when operator work doesn't matter much, it's separate life cycle. The parts we want in the next release, we have to review and merge. Let me archive this column. I hope you are done, Mauro. And so the obvious thing to deliver is 411. William, are you off this week? You said something about being off the whole week, or?
Sorry, what?
You're off this week, you said, so we shouldn't expect any updates on copy?
Well, I'm off. I'm on pause on Capi for releasing Alpha 2 on the Open VM tools because I'm switching the whole test and everything on Hadron. That's already working. The end-to-end is on the end-to-end testing is working with KubeVirt and Hadron, but for VMware because there are actually users using the VMware Capi. I don't. Yeah, I am waiting, but I am. I will be working this week on Capi stuff, and maybe I will also be touching the Redfish on Aurora Boot.
Yeah, that would be nice. I saw that Serhi mentioned something about the implementation missing some things, so maybe you guys can catch up and see what's missing and maybe open an issue together.
Yeah, I will look at it.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah, the Redfish implementation was let's say experimental and very much based on the upstream DMTF, which is nobody is actually using the standard. They're all using their own implementation. So
just create a new standard. That's how it works.
Yeah. William.
The 25 standards are too much different from each other. Let's create the 26 that unifies them.
All right. So from my side, I will still be occupied with what I have currently open. Plus, as soon as I QA confidential containers operator on the AWS thingy, I will start trying Hadron as a host OS, because on AWS you're the guest operating system. I want to check if Cocos works as well as a host operating system, for which I'm gonna need hardware. I already discussed that with Ettore, and we have some ideas. We will try to, I mean, we need bare metal, so it might take a little while to get prepared. I think it usually takes a day or two to get that prepared, and we're looking for something which is value for money, because generally these are very expensive machines when they have this type of processor from AMD. So it might take a while, but I need to test that. Therefore, we call it, working. And the other thing I was planning to, because it seems that it's easy to break cloud images. I'll tell you a little bit more about it in a sec. But I wanted to implement a pipeline that runs maybe at least when we release, that checks if it still works on AWS with SEV-SNP. I mean, if you think of how brittle it is, just one, it works on one kernel version, then breaks and needs a patch and needs some options. I can easily see how it breaks when we bump the kernel, right? So maybe the patch no longer fixes it, or it's upstream or whatever. So I think we need a pipeline to test that it works. So that's one I want to do as well. So I think I will be pretty occupied, and just to remind you, this is indeed focused on the next release. It's part of what we need to release as part of 4.2. So it's still focused, and I have some side work here as well. So that will keep me occupied this week. Do we have any other big epics that, because I'm trying to see if we can fit more work in here. It seems to me that we don't have much capacity. And Mauro, you will be busy with the event, the talk preparation, I believe. Plus, you have RISC-V open.
Yeah. And I will probably put some tasks regarding some videos that need to start being shipped in June. So I don't know if this week, but as soon as possible.
All right. So that leaves us just with the Chaka, I guess. So let's find the board to send to Chaka, and that keeps Chaka occupied.
No board. So from my side, I got nothing, to be honest. If I finish the VM tools stuff, I got nothing in my hands, so I'll pick it up, whatever it is in there. I know that the config URL stuff was important, but no idea about what else.
Okay, let's have a look at the incoming tickets to see if there's something we need to handle as an emergency or something, and then.
Dimitris, for Epic, there is the copy Epic that I've been responding to some of the issues that were there. It was one of my tasks for this week, for last week. I think that there are some of those that can be closed, like the Bootstrap provider, the control plane provider. A lot of those have been implemented. So I think I can start closing some of those, if that's the plan.
Sure. Feel free, or if you need an opinion, just ping us. I haven't gone through my emails from GitHub yet, my notifications. So if you pinged me and I didn't reply, I'll probably do it next after the call. I have to go through the tickets. Or feel free to ping anybody if you need a second pair of eyes on something, or close them if you know they can be closed.
Yeah.
All right. So before we go to the release ticket and pick something and pull it in, let me check what has been opened recently. So installation hooks to Surface Custom Allergy. I think I saw a Slack conversation, internal one, about this one. Does anybody know? Yeah, the bot opened. So that was from Slack. Very big description. So
I think Ichaka was talking about this, and it's about letting the user extend the installer or something like this. But I didn't really follow completely. Do you remember, Ichaka?
Yes. So we got a request for customers that may screw up installing and run the installer twice with two different disks. The installer will get confused, right? Because it will see that there is partitions in both disks, and the last one wins. So there is no control over that. It's a very niche use case, right? But yeah, the idea was, well, they have to tell the user, just wipe FS the disk before starting the installation. And then they ask, can we do this as part of the TUI? And I said, no, let's not do something specific. Let's do a framework to maybe run prerequisites or something like that with remediations, right? So some hook that before the installer, it just it does like the plugins stuff. It just calls out with a hook saying, okay, check whatever you want and let me know if the user needs to interact with it. So this way, we have things like, I don't know, the disk, or maybe the interfaces, how many interfaces there has to be. And people that build things on top of Kairos can put their own prerequisites in there. Like, I don't know, if you do a firewall with Kairos, you want at least to be 2 network interfaces, things like that, or that the interfaces are bonded. So this is about creating a small framework in there with what are we gonna be sending out for the plugins and how the plugins are gonna respond if they need something from the user. Like, okay, I found that there is already partitions in disk, whatever. Do you want to wipe the disk before starting? Things like that. The stuff should be pretty simple because we already do that for providers. Like if you put providers in the system, the installer will send a hook to the provider and the provider will return a prompt. So the prompt can modify the final call config for installing code K3S, for example, or K0S. So something similar in there.
Yeah, but can we, I don't know, I mean, we need a concrete example that we implement based on that. Like,
yeah, so for example,
the up, I wouldn't know
disk.
what to put. So we're talking about something like a script that runs something and gives you back what? So the terminal UI expects what? Plain text, structured JSON data with.
You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, so but I have to know exactly what kinds of checks you would do. Is it just informational that spits out something and says, hey, do this first? Or does it give you a prompt to actually do them? So we go back to the whatever we called and we say, okay, user said yes, do this, this, and that. So as a suggestion,
I think for starters, we should do a yes, no, right? So you send a hook, then you get something from that hook with a question or whatever, saying you want to wipe the disk, and then you have yes, no. And if yes, we send the response to the provider again, and the provider does whatever. Not the provider, sorry.
That's definitely doable with interfaces and such, but I feel it's kind of complicated, and I wonder if it's going to be widely used, or is it just for one use case?
It is a pain in the ass, and it's a very niche thing, but yeah, I don't know. Take it up with Ettore. I will have said no to this. This I think this is stupid. If you install twice to different disks, I'm sorry, but there is a point in which we don't allow, like, I don't know, dogs jumping on the keyboard to install Kairos. We have to put like the minimum knowledge about something. If you screw it up, then you fix it up. If I screw my computer, then I have to fix it. If I broke my TV, it's not the TV owner.
It should support it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but I just hit it with a hammer. Why it's not working? Yeah, sorry. But
all right, need a discussion. Then we'll leave it there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Clean up all leftover data on this. That's the same thing. That's the fix.
That's the one that request that turn out into the spike.
Yeah. Okay. Feedback report. What's this? Yeah. We asked Dario to tell us what's wrong with the Kubernetes provider, so we can decide which way to go, and he provided very nice feedback. Yeah. This is it. Right.
How dare he? But we asked for feedback and he gave it.
Yeah, no, this is it. This is in a written form. The exact. So we were discussing we need specific problems that the existing provider has. Said where we rewrite it from scratch or we improve. We wanted to be able to tell if the current thing is fixable or not, or whether we start from scratch and needs a completely different architecture. Because you remember we were saying, oh, it has bash scripts and things like that. But here, these are concrete problems, real things you have to fix, and what pain they're creating. So, yeah, either we discuss or everybody reads this because I only went quickly through it.
Yeah, honestly, I read it, and my opinion. So, this is actively used within Spectro, and changing it, I think it's not something that we are using. It's not something that we are releasing for upstream. So I am of the strong opinion that we should rewrite it, but leave this one alone, because from what I understand, there is also a FIPS. I remember there is something about being FIPS compliant, or there is a FIPS distribution available. I am of the opinion that we should create one that is upstream, and the whole design of this KubeVM relies on the scripts and R coding. It doesn't provide any parameterization of the KubeVM command, and that's what CAPI would not what CAPI, but what a proper provider should have the logic to accept parameterization and discrete options passed to the command. And there is another design which is the join of the worker in an existing control plane that is just a for loop. waiting for the control plane to exist. When you do this with a hosted control plane, it might break very badly. I don't know. I have a bit of mixed feelings personally about working on this rather than building another one. There is so much customization in this one that I don't know if it's gonna break something for Spectro Cloud.
If I understand correctly, working on it meant more we stay on the repository, but we have completely different branches. So I don't think we need to take any of the code for the new version. It's just about allowing that if they need time to migrate, they can still do it through the same GitHub repository. That was my understanding, at least. But I agree with this. This is not a refactoring. This is a different project.
Yeah, but I'm also doubting that working on a different branch of the same repo is the right approach, because it might be confusing. The idea of what I was thinking is create a new provider, which is something like provider-Kubernetes, and is intended to be upstream aligned with upstream Kubernetes, and go directly on that direction with the design.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I think even if we do something afterwards, we should, and by we I mean William, should start. Like let's not wait, because they're probably gonna take a long time in doing stuff as usual, and it may not sync with what we want. And let's just do the provider Kubernetes and start working on it. We can always, remove it afterwards if we find that it's not what we want.
Yeah,
that might be okay, but for me, the big item that we need to address is that it's under the Kairos IO umbrella and we don't maintain it. And that gives a very wrong perception.
Yes. So we can move with the other one is working. I think we can move this out of the Kairos IO.
Whether you want to name it differently or something else, that's completely fine for now. But I think we need a ticket that is talking about addressing this with the team who is consuming this and about moving it out of the Kairos IO. We can have a, I don't know, Kairos IO/community or whatever, where all of these things can be associated, or it can go into Spectro Cloud Labs or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
okay, we'll agree on that.
That will take time, eh?
Yeah, indeed. That will not be immediate.
It should not block us moving forward, I think.
My question is, because if we start from scratch, it brings us back to the other conversation we had on how do we refactor providers. And because right now, just to remind to people maybe watching a recording that the Kairos provider is like a hybrid thing. It has both K3s, K0s, but not QBADM, obviously. And we were discussing on having a common way, an API to implement providers, either merge them all in one, or I don't remember all the ideas that were dropped on the table, but it doesn't look correct that we support K3s and K0s in the same provider, but everything else is separate ones. What does that even mean, right?
Well, I have an opinion. I've been thinking about this. So the kubeadm, if we go the upstream way, right? The upstream Kubernetes. So kubeadm, provider Kubernetes would be just aligned to kubeadm. So it follows also the release cycle of kubeadm. If 136 is released, then we work on updating the provider, and that's it. With the provider Kairos is aligned to distributions, to upstream this to CNCF distributions. There are K0s and K3s. So I think it does make sense to keep them separate, because those follow different designs entirely, like single binary Kubernetes, all in one, with their own flags, with their own distributions. we can have a different conversation regarding splitting it. If we want to split Edge VPN, K3S, and K0S in 3 different things, that all conversations is still valid. But when we talk about kubeADM, we're talking about upstream Kubernetes, and I think that's makes sense to have it its own life with separate from the other providers, because it doesn't even mean that it will need to support Edge VPN.
I guess that makes it easier to start the work. Wouldn't block anything. Yeah, for me that makes sense, and later on we can still decide how much they need to share together with other providers. But as you say, maybe nothing.
Yeah, personally, I have the feeling that at the moment, I don't see a way. I don't see a reason why they would have to share any logic, or they are implementation of their own K3S and K0S. It's a different design It's different design entirely than kubeADM.
Yeah,
and between them, they're different. It just happened that we put them in the same repo.
Yeah.
The thing is that the contract should be better clarified, let me say. So when someone starts with a provider, unless they look at the code and try to copy what we already do and figure it out themselves, the contract on what a provider is and how it works and what it implements, right? It's not completely clear to people. And maybe by having them in one repo, for example, have clear interfaces, it would be clearer to people what they need to implement. That's maybe one benefit of having them in one repo, that they are all implemented as implementations of one interface, and code forces you to actually do it this way, so you cannot go wild. Because if it's a separate binary with just a couple of touch points with the Kairos agent, you may end up with bash scripts, right? Like this one, for loops.
Yeah.
But do we have a set of like interfaces or whatever that we want in here, or do we want just the endpoints for the hooks and that's it? You do whatever you want.
Currently, it's like that, I think. So the provider is called a couple of times.
Yeah.
At build time.
And I think that makes sense because in our case we have our provider is on Golang, but the kubeADM I think is on Bash, and you can have a Bash one, and you can have a Rust one, and you can have a Node.js one. So I think the trying to standardize and say, well, your provider has to do this and that, we are just constraining ourselves to something for. I don't think there is any reason for that.
Yeah, and also, what about provider Edge VPN, for example, if we want to separate that, meaning the provider doesn't have to be associated to the platform, right? But then it would be nice to describe what the provider is for, so that people have it.
I think we should explain the entry points for it and what everything does, maybe, and that should be your interfaces or whatever. That's our interface, right?
Yeah.
All the hooks and what you are supposed to do in them with examples and.
Well, what you're supposed to do them inside is up to you, right?
Yeah.
It's not.
No, I mean, we introduce them for some reason, right? Maybe it's not completely obvious. Like when you say, I'm gonna call you the provider at build time.
Oh, I get it. Yes.
Yeah, maybe people don't realize why on earth are you calling me at build time, right? So with an example, we show, hey, you do fetch your binaries there, or something like
that. Yeah. Indeed. And now I get it. Sorry, I did not understand then.
All right, so with this in mind, we go from scratch with provider Kubernetes, a fresh one, Kubernetes, like we described. I'm kidding. And then we decide whether we split K0s and K3s. I don't remember how we ended up. I think it was just faster, Mauro, that you did K0s inside the existing provider. But maybe at that point we should split them into separate ones. I don't know. But thing. So this means we all agree it's a new repository, written from scratch, as upstream as possible for Kubernetes, and then as soon as it works, it's working, we do all the other bureaucratic stuff of, I don't know, maybe archiving repos, moving them, whatever. Okay?
Good.
I will open a ticket for moving the repos because that will be a long-term discussion if I have.
Yeah, but they can't do this now until we have something working, so I guess we have time. But yeah, feel free to open it. We agreed in planning, just recording what we just said, that we will create a new provider Kubernetes, we said, repository, and implement this from scratch to avoid breaking the existing one for current consumers. As soon as the new repository is in working state, we will move the old existing provider out of the Kairos IO.
Wait, why would you? Yeah, okay, sorry, go on. Yeah.
No, what is the question?
Yeah, why not moving it in a public repository now? And or at least put a big red notice on the README file saying that this will be moved on date such and such on the public repository such and such.
Point. In the meantime, we can.
Well, I think because we're still waiting for a response from the quote unquote owners.
Yeah.
I thought I reached to them and ask them about what we are planning. I think it's maybe even in the repository.
Okay.
So we're waiting for their input on what to do before touching anything.
We want to determine by the Kairos core team, and it might be moved in the future. Maybe mentioning that we are working. Yeah, that seems a little bit weird though. So there is a provider, and instead of improving it, you're moving it out and creating one from scratch. It's like saying the old one is so crappy that you create a new one, which is what we're actually doing, but doesn't sound nice to say that.
That's what we're doing.
No, but it also shows ownership. I think that's one of the important aspects.
Yeah, ownership is important, yes.
Like if you have an issue with that and you open it, do we fix it? No. So that's a bit of a problem.
Well, for the one opening it, not for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I put a comment, feel free to add more to it. And this, I don't know what priority it has. Do we want a ticket now? It's not really part of any release we planned so far.
I think we should have a spike now, Dimitris, or not?
Yeah, probably.
What's there to spike about? I mean, we know exactly how to create providers. I see us implementing it, right?
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
Maybe we can. So this is the feedback report. It's not a ticket to implement it. Either we change this one, or I click some button to, or I move this. Look, I'm gonna be lazy about it and move this to in progress. And whoever picks this up decides whether they create a new ticket to implement it or they continue on this one and update. Well, yeah, we can't really update the description. It's written by Dario, so feel free to create a new ticket and start working on it.
Yeah. Okay.
Or where is it? Where did you go? Oh.
So does it make sense that I start working on it on my private Git, or shall I start working on it on the Kairos IO org?
Well, depends on whether you're ashamed of the code you write or not.
I'm always ashamed of the code that I write. Otherwise,
so put it in public. Put it in public. But yeah, but just put warnings that this is work in progress, maybe with a public to do item list in the README, so people know where it stands now and things like that, so they don't try to use it, right?
Okay.
This is the robot. No format extra part. That's again part of that, or am I wrong? I think it's the same ticket as the top two.
I think the robot was having some issues.
No. The no format stuff is something that we used to have a long time ago in the partitionerg plugin. That if you put a dash in there in the file system, it will just not format the partition created, and we lost that somewhere along the line. I don't think it was ever documented. But whatever, it's a nice feature, and it's a really simple. This is a really simple patch. It's just adding either of those three. We'll create the partition, but just skip the formatting, because some software around supposedly you have to create a partition but not format it. Something about Kubernetes stuff. I think. So yeah. Again, very niche use case, but something that we used to do and we used to have and we lost, and it's very simple to support. So
you seem to like it, so I'm gonna pull it in. And you said it's simple.
Yeah. That's 2 lines
in Yip. Then you have to propagate up to Kairos agent.
Yeah, well, it will eventually get the propagated.
Feature request. Where do things go? There it is. No, that's not one. What am I supposed to do now? Just wait?
I think it's stuck. I am trying to access GitHub and...
Yeah, me too.
Eating unicorns.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't reload. It does.
I think it's starting to get better.
No.
Oh my god.
It's really nice that people, when they hacked GitHub the other day, people were astounded that GitHub was up enough time that they could hack it.
That's a new level of security. We don't stay up long enough. That's very nice.
Love it.
That's why they do it, so nobody can hack it.
Extra partitions duplicated. More on partitions. What on earth? But this said it's similar to this. There was a link from this.
Yeah, that one that is very stupid. I mean, they have the same extra partitions on one cloud config, and they provide an extra cloud config with the same extra partitions. So of course it creates 2, because maps and arrays are stupid in Golang. But anyway, we don't have any deduplication in place for.
I think it's an array in YAML as well. What can you do? We just append. We don't replace arrays.
Yeah, exactly. And it's been like that forever. So
yeah.
I think that Ettore was in discussions on that to have it drop, because it will mean just a specific development in the collector only for that extra partitions, and then we will have to decide if we compare on name, on partition label, on I don't think it's going to happen. Just don't put twice the same configuration and expect it to work.
Yeah. I'll ignore it, man. So last one is this. So that's a template ticket people open when they want to be added in adopters, right? Mauro, what are we supposed to do after this? I think it looks complete, no?
Yeah, I will need to follow up personally. Yeah, there's a bunch of work that needs to happen. We need to put them on the adopters on the website, and then we need to put them all together until we have enough adopters to be able to start applying for the incubation.
Okay,
this is really nice.
Yeah, this one is pretty impressive. Yeah.
Nice. How far are we from starting the next level of, was it incubation?
We need between 5 and 7, if I'm correct. This would be our second that has been submitted. But there are other 2 potential ones who might want to be there. So I don't know. I think if we manage to get another 2, we might already be able to start doing it.
All right. So we are on time. So we didn't really pull something from 4.2 release. Itzhaka, you said you will need to work on something new, but you know where to find the release and grab something from there. And we already pulled some smaller tickets like this one, which you can also pick. So I guess you're also good. I think everybody has work to do. So at this point, I'm going to stop sharing.
Yeah, there is one thing that I want to show you guys on the documentation. I really didn't know how to open a ticket for it. One moment, I'll share my screen before we go. So can you see my screen?
I see your screen.
Yes.
Yeah. So if I go to the documentation, if I go to the docs, it's okay. I see the Kairos 1.0, but if I click on any of this, I go to the development.
Oh, good call.
Yeah, and if I go, in example, to Hadron, and I go to the quick start, I think. No, was it? I thought I had it also on Hadron. Maybe I was mistaken. One moment.
Does Hadron have versioning in the docs?
There is, yeah.
There is?
I think
we dropped that, no?
Oh, no, you dropped it. Yeah, no. Hadron not. Okay. No. Okay, Hadron is okay. Yeah.
It's only on the Hadron part under the Kairos docs, I think.
Here, all the way to the bottom. Hadron on the left. The bottom left menu.
Column.
Here, this one.
Sorry, no, one above.
A little bit higher.
This one.
The side. Yeah.
That one.
No, this one is okay.
At some point, we need to put versioning here. Then that is missing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I thought it was more
the links.
Yeah. If you go to the links here, any of these links will lead you to development.
Okay. I'll open a ticket. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know where to open the ticket, so I actually didn't know how to say it because it was in the position. Yeah.
All right.
You have an agent name like me, so now you want me also to work for you, right, William? Just say it.
Yeah. That's the thing, Mauro. I have my Mauro with the Latin temperament.
Everyone needs one of those.
You want the human version now.
I want the human version. It's more polite.
All right, guys. Enjoy your day then. And the week.
Have a good day, everyone.
All right.
Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye, folks.